tutorial of Meet the GIMP. My name is Rolf Steinert and I am recording this in Bremen, northern Germany. In the beginning, I will do something that I always forget to mention. I always forget to save the image before doing anything to it. So, I go to File, Save As, and save this as comic.xcf. XCF is the GIMP native file format, and it keeps all the layers information in the file. Never save anything in GIMP as JPEG or TIFF or so if you want to work further with it. You can export from there to every format you want to. But for anything you want to do further work with, use XCF. So, what to do? First thing, I have to clear up this image a bit. There are two problems here. First, the guy behind me. And second is this clutter below here. This statue here is very well placed, and I think it is one of the corner points of this image. So let me first take away this stuff here. So I'll zoom into the image and select the pen tool. This is best done by cloning tool, and I don't have to work very precise here because all this little stuff will vanish in the final image. So I select the clone tool and change the size of the pen. Now I press Ctrl and click to get a starting point, and now I simply start to paint. But before starting that, I change the overlay mode to normal mode, opacity to 100, and now let's start painting. Image gets a little bit cloudy, so I select another brush to paint. And now I go here to the border and paint. So the guy is gone. That leaves the clutter here. I want to keep the flower pot here, but this stuff here has to go. I will take care of this border of the flower pot in a moment. If I would keep this image in this way, you would see the traces of cloning, but they will vanish when I switch on the comic mode. So now, let's do a bit about the flower pot here. I think I should clone from this point. It doesn't look very convincing in this zoom step, but I think it will work. The comic image basically consists of three parts. First, there are the black patches or dark patches with no colors, which gives structure to the image. Then there are the lines which defines forms and items in the image. And then there is color, and we will start as in the tutorial with the patches. And for that, I double this layer and call it ink. I select the threshold tool and click into the image and pull the info window into the image. You see here the image is black and white. This tool divides the image into black and white. If the pixel is lighter than at the moment 82, then the combination of average value of red, green and blue is white, and if the level is below 82, it becomes black. Now we face the first problem here. When I draw this slider around, the effect is very dark. This value here, 129, would be nice for the left part of my face, the shoulder, and for the statue. This would be nice for the eyes here. And this for the other eye. Now I have to use different ink layer for this image. So let's start from the lighter side, like this one here, and go back into the image to 100%. I double this here and select the threshold tool and pull this slider down. But before that, I have to make the top layer invisible. I think this value is good for this part of the face. I make a copy of this layer and make it visible. And now I am working on this layer. I have to look for the middle terms here. This part of the face, I think this works quite good. So I look around in the image. The statue is fine too. This image has a good definition here, and near my hand the line is invisible, and that is called optical illusion. I think this is fine, and it should be in the image. Now I select the threshold tool, make the line here visible, and look at the bright parts to get little bit of definition. So I slide this up. This looks better. Now I have 3 copies of my ink layer. First is ink light. Top layer is ink dark. And let's name the middle layer simply ink. Now let's look at the 3 layers and decide which one is to use mostly. I think ink layer is a good base because this is too light and this is too dark. So I put this layer in the bottom and I add a layer mask to the dark layer and the light layer. I add a layer mask in black which is fully transparent. So everything here gets invisible. When I draw white on this layer mask of the light layer, the image will be revealed in it. So I select the brush tool here with normal mode and opacity 100%. I think I shall use a hard brush and the pressure sensitivity should be the size. So when I press the pen on the surface, the dot will be larger. My foreground color is white. So let's start. I think the left part of the face should be brightened. I press 1 to zoom into the image. I think this brush is too small. So I scale this a bit up. That looks better. But perhaps it is too bright. This has to be either black or white. So I switch the colors with X key and paint this over again here. But I think I can leave this out here and put the next layer above that. Now we are more concerned about the areas and about the structure. So I should forget about the lines and just look at the structure here. Simply leave it as it is. I can add another layer easily, and now I paint for the dark parts with the white color. Let's see if I can reveal here a little bit. I think this is too much. I want to make the face a bit darker. And ear also. I think that's too dark. Here there is some work still to be done, but I will leave it to this here and look at it after I am done with the next step with the lines, and then I can adjust here. This has to be brightened up, so we will look at the edit there. In this step, I have to add some lines, and this can be done by doubling the background layer and putting it on top and naming it lines. The lines are the edges between different colors. So I go to filters, then we have edge detect, and here I have difference of Gaussian edge detect. The relevant slider is the radius, and if you decrease the number, the lines get finer. If you increase the number, the lines get wider and you get more of the details in the image. I would prefer something around 10, but I can go to 30 and then decide where exactly I should stop. When I go to 30, I don't get the edges, but areas. And 12 would give this here. And I think I will settle at 10. I set the layer mode of this layer to multiply, and for the colorizing, I will later need to reduce the white in the image. Now let's check out if we have got this right up to now. So I will switch the lines layer on and off, and you see here there is some definition when the line layer is on. And now I deselect the dark ink layer and keep the light ink layer. The structure that I wanted to have in with my dark ink layer is visible in the lines layer. So I will leave the dark ink layer switched off. I don't think there is a need to combine these layers here. I will leave it as it is so that I can change something and it will be in the final image. Next step, as I said, I have to reduce the white channel here, and it can be done with the levels tool, and I reduce the level up to 240. When I switch off this layer, you can see that I have a gray background and little bit of color information in here. For getting the color in the image, I copy the background layer and name it color and put it on the top and set the layer mode to color, but it doesn't look good, so I should change the mode. The image has got little bit of color in here, but I want more saturation, so again I make the copy of background layer and name it saturation. I set the layer mode to saturation. I think this saturation mode already works and the effects are very good. There should have been more flatness in the color and the hand is not looking comic. I will look where this comes from. So I can now start to play with these sliders. Going down with saturation gets little bit flatter and looks more like watercolors. So this is a strange effect. Now I can start to play with the layers here. So I switch off the lines layer and you see here that this is not the effect from the lines but from colors and saturation. Now I can make some adjustments because I still have the layers here. I want to lighten the face, so I select my ink light layer, select a brush with white foreground color. I zoom into the image, reduce the size of the brush and scale it a bit, and now I start to paint the eye here. That's too much. This looks better. Now I paint in this part. This is too much. You can imagine there can be lot of modifications in here you can make in the image by changing these areas here. This is okay. You can do a lot of changes here, and I don't know if I am on the right track, but I like it up to now. Let's see what else we can do. First thing is we can use a different layer than the lines. So I switch off the lines and I get very strange colors because now I have again a white background. So add another layer here and set it to white and use multiply mode and fill it with 240 gray. Now I have got nearly the same image as with my lines here. Let me switch them on. I have the lines information coming out, but this comic effect is still there, and I can look what's better. Let's try some different tricks. I double the color and the saturation layer and do something with them. Here I just try to get the details out of the image. So go to filters, blur and Gaussian blur. And here I choose a value which gives me a nice effect. You see that the colors has got little bit smoother. So let's do this on the saturation copy also. Go to filters, repeat Gaussian blur. And now I have really flat image with flat colors. So I switch on the original color and I get a strange effect here. Let's rename these layers as saturation blurred and the color blurred. If I combine the blurred saturation with the unblurred color, I get some colors here which looks quite a bit strange. I would like it if it was not especially on the nose here. So switching this back on and I have this effect here. You can imagine if you reduce the blurring, you get sharp details. This is a real playground. You have a lot of possibilities here, like how to do this, what to do, what to tinker with. It's really fun to do this. The author of the original tutorial has done a tremendous job. I am not so happy with both versions of this image. I like the structure here and the flower, the statue and the pot here. I don't like all the details near the hand and in the face. This could be little bit more flat. In the blurred on, I like the details in the face and near the hand, but I don't like the flower which is completely blurred away. So now I can combine the two images and I will start with color blurred because I like the overall appearance of this more than of the saturation blurred. But I switch on all the layers and add a layer mask to saturation blurred and color blurred, and I add a black layer mask fully transparent, and now I will start working on saturation layer mask. So I select white as my foreground color and select the paint brush here. Now I start painting. I just paint over the parts where I want to have little bit more flatness in the image. This will look a bit strange because now I have the color layer switched on. So now I select everything by pressing Shift Ctrl A and copy it by Ctrl C. Go into the image and press Ctrl V and click on Insert this floating selection, and with Ctrl H or with the anchor layer I have my copy here. So you can copy these layer masks too, and I think I will leave this image here. I think it's so quite nice example, and in the end I play a bit with these sliders. Let's recap this. You first copy the image layer and an inked image with threshold tool. Look for areas which you want to have black or very dark. Then you copy the base image again and make a line layer with the edge detect filter, and then you set the layer mode to multiply. In this layer, you reduce the white to a gray about 240 with the levels tool. Then you copy again the base image and make a color layer. Set the color mode to color, and finally you copy the base layer last time and make a saturation layer, and here you set the layer mode to saturation, and now you play with the opacity of the different layers or add some layers. Just play around. The results are well mixed, but some are stunning. For more information, go to meetthegimp.org, and to send a comment, please write to info@meetthegimp.org. Goodbye. This is Hemant Vaidande dubbing for the Spoken Tutorial project.